Hello, everyone, and welcome back to one of the final horrors of XBLIG. We're doing Decay the Mare, the follow-up to Decay, which you may remember we had played a while back for the horrors. It was a 4-part game, only on Xbox Live Indie Games, I believe, though Decay the Mare is also on the PC on Steam. This was released in 2 episodes on XBLIG, but on Steam it's only the 1 part. Let's get into this and see what the follow-up to Decay is all about. If you remember what Decay was like, it was sort of like a point-and-click adventure, I guess you could call it, developed by Shining Gate Software. They go much the same way in The Mare as they did in Decay. Very much the same gameplay, very much the same mood and atmosphere. We'll see if it lives up to the original, because the original I thought was one of the better horror games that we've seen as we have been combing through the Xbox Live indie game library. Let's start this up and see if Decay the Mare can measure up to the original. So, in the first Decay, our main character was someone who woke up after hanging themselves. This is a bit less dramatic than that. We have checked ourselves into a rehab clinic, is what it looked like there. We're trying to get off of the drugs. What drugs we're on? I don't know. But we decided we're going to clean ourselves up. Clean up our lives. We're going to play the tutorial, which will help us clean up our lives. We can move the cursor, we can slow the cursor down or speed it up, and we can turn around by using the D-pad. We can interact with objects like this door. It's locked, but that's an interaction. Or this closet, in which there's nothing in. Well, it's only our first day. I guess we came light. We didn't bring a whole lot with us when we checked in. The walls could be... You could really use some a paint job in this room, I think. Kind of let it deteriorate. Well, that's what we're here. We're here to follow the instructions of the medical staff that are here to care for us. So we're going to take our medicine before we go to bed.
What is a friend?
We wake up from a very odd and very staticky dream. Induced by the medicine? Well, I don't know. We were told to take it, and we did, but it looks like our nightmares were too much. They woke us up in the middle of the night. And why don't we go for a stroll and talk with our fellow patients here? We could do that. Or we could if we weren't suddenly placed in some kind of nightmarish cage. It probably was not here when we went to bed. You could probably assume. You would think the clinic would be more inviting looking than this. We can't seem to interact with anything around us because we're kept from them by the bars. But there is one direction we can try to go in. Maybe we can ask someone if they've noticed someone's... No, won't open. I guess whoever's in there is fast asleep. What about this room? Anyone in there? No. They're not having any trouble falling asleep, I guess. We're the only ones who are having the nightmares. But, you can't just go right back to bed after that. You have to take a walk. So let's walk into the authorized personnel section. It's probably not where we should be going. And, this is just a mess. I guess this is authorized personnel because they didn't want the patients to see the state that they keep this room in. We find that there's a little space right here that we could crawl under if we wanted to. And if we have sharp, observant eyes, we might also notice that there's a coin right here. I can pick that up. We can take a look at the coin. Now, this is sort of like the first Decay, where there were little collectibles that we could pick up, and they would unlock, I believe, extras like concept art and stuff. So there are 5 coins to find in the first episode. You gotta keep yourself busy, You gotta make games for yourself when you're in a bad situation, a bad mental situation like our character is in. Addicted to drugs, trying to get off, trying to do right. So maybe you become a coin collector. You get a hobby like that you can pay attention to and spend your time on. Time is an illusion. Now it seems that we wandered into the room with the portcullis, and they did not mention when we checked in about the portcullis room. But we're trapped in here now. I guess we can't go back to our bed even if we wanted to. I guess we're going to have to head through the time door. See what the rest of this facility is like, because apparently no one's allowed back here. It's staff only. Again, they really should do a better job of cleaning the place up. That's not our job. Our job is to get off drugs. That's the only thing we should be thinking about. Shouldn't be thinking about eyeballs drawn on the wall either. Like little... I was about to say hula hoops, but that's way too small for a hula hoop. I would not want to see the creature that was able to use that as a hula hoop. No staff around. I guess they're all in bed as well. We could play around with this machine and these dials, but that's probably not a good idea. We don't know what these numbers should be. But we can pull the handle. Nothing. It's probably for the best. The handle looks like it would probably control this fan. And there is something close to the fan. Right there. We can't get to it because it's blocked off by bars, like a lot of things in this place seem to be. For a place about reaching freedom, they sure do use a lot of prison bars. Well, let's head downstairs. Oh, a drawing. Art is another thing you could take up when you're trying to get a hobby that will take up a lot of time. Spend your time drawing. I can't use it, but maybe I can examine this. Yeah, there we go. Spend your time drawing skulls. I mean, it takes a lot of time, a lot of practice to be able to accurately and realistically render a skull in pencil or ink. It's something you could spend your time on. The youth is crying. Jinin rub si num it is what that says. On the right, it says the men are watching. I mean, that's what you're here for. It's a rehab facility. People are going to be watching you. On the left, it says the tart inepsi il. Deep words, wise words that we should remember. I wouldn't expect that we would crawl in there anyway. That seems way too small, and we have no reason to do that. We're just killing time until the sun rises, since we don't really want to go back to bed. I saw some movement in there. Maybe it's a staff member. It's the best locked door. There is no better locked door than the ones with dogs on it. How do you think we open that door? If you guess that we have to get the dog key, well, you might be onto something. Let's take this note. It said our name is on the bottom. List of patients, maybe. And there we are. Sam Eldritch. So I guess now we know who we are. Anyone in here? Doesn't seem so. Dark room, lit up only by the moonlight streaming through the window onto this tiny hula hoop. We can't do anything with the hula hoop. Or can we? Light switches just don't work in the world of Decay, the Mare. I guess we'll go downstairs. Doesn't really seem like there's anything else we can do right now. Further, we go down deeper and deeper into the facility. A metaphor into our own mind. We go deeper and deeper, trying to overcome our own personal demons with a wooden handle that we will use to beat up our demons with the metaphorical wooden handle. It's the handle of a sledgehammer, even better. If we could get the psychological sledgehammer head onto our metaphorical hammer, we could beat up our mental demons real easy. Just smash those drugs. Here's a room. Sure, let's take a look at it. We can eye poke it. Probably there's a reason for that. You just kind of, give it 2 to the eyes, Three Stooges style. Tori was here. All of us feel that we need to leave our mark on the world. We think of our own mortality and know that eventually we won't be around anymore. And when we're gone, will anyone even miss us? Will there be any proof that we even existed? You feel that you have to make your mark any way you can. Maybe it's with a tiny hula hoop. Maybe you have some other way of doing it. You have to find the way that's best for you. And another living thing, even if it's only a butterfly. It's a very distinct looking butterfly, crimson red, on this locked door. Can't look at these books, however. We look to the left, and we look to the right. Doors all around us. And we just end up back where we started. Well, you've probably played enough video games that you can guess what's going on there. We don't know how to get through that yet. But we'll figure it out. Just like we'll figure out how to kick this drug addiction. We'll get the directions that will let us navigate through the lost woods of our mind, of our soul, that will let us kick the habit. It's funny that I guess you wouldn't really consider this spooky anymore because you could totally have animated portraits in your house if you wanted to. Like, if you want to have faces that are blinking, that exists. Portraits with screens that you can have whatever you want on them do exist. So you could totally make this happen. But is there anything we should learn about the blinking? Do you think? Left, right, left, left, right. Well, we did see something having to do with eyes a little while ago. A brick wall. Doesn't seem like we can actually interact with it, though. A teddy bear. Nothing more remarkable than that. Just a teddy bear. Someone left it here. Maybe it was their security teddy bear. Their friend that they confided in when they couldn't trust anyone else. Let's go back to this. Let's try to remember that pattern. I believe it was left, right, left, left, right. There we go. Tori's signature no longer seen, giving way to the opening of this door, which let us get the dog key. The best key. Can there be a better key than the dog key? I say no. I say there cannot be. But now that we have the dog key, where else could it go but the dog door? There's really no... It would be completely illogical for this to go anywhere else. It wouldn't go in the bloody door. It has to go in the dog door. You know, it's a nice picture, but I don't know if it needs to be hung up this many times. Oh, they blink too. A lot of animated pictures in this place. And we have found another coin. We can look at the different walls, but all we see are just endless copies of this picture. None of them seem different than anything else, except there's one that's sort of scratched. We can take this one. Let's have a look at it. What makes this one any different? Oh, I have to examine, not use. What makes this one any different than anything else? Oh, there's something on the back of it.
Jenny was tired of the city life. She decided to fulfill her dream. Live alone in a house in the woods, outside of town. After a few weeks, she truly understood how much she loved it. She had found a place where she would grow old. Or so she thought. One night, before going to sleep, Jenny noticed something strange outside the house. It was difficult to see because it was so dark, but when she turned on the lamps in the room, she could clearly see a man standing next to the shed in the uncut grass. It was almost like he was observing her. 9 meters from the house. Even though he terrified her, she decided to confront him, but once she was outside, the man was gone. She naturally assumed that he'd ended up there by chance and disappeared immediately as soon as he saw that someone was in the house. A few days later, Jenny had already forgotten about the man. In the evening, Jenny heated up some milk. Drinking warm milk made her sleep better. She walked around the house and took small sips of the hot milk. She stopped at one of the windows and froze when she saw the man again. He stood about 6 meters from the house. This time, she could clearly see him. He was pale and skinny. His eyes reminded her of a doll's. The empty eyes looked at her, but at the same time, they didn't. She was about to open the window when he suddenly began walking out of her sight towards the entrance of the house. She ran quickly to the kitchen and picked up a knife. She stood there, frozen, waiting for the man. But he never came. A few minutes later, she went out to check if he was still there. He wasn't. Time went by, and once again, Jenny started to forget about the man. But on this night, it felt strange somehow, almost as if she was being watched. Despite this incredibly unpleasant feeling, Jenny decided to try and get some much-needed sleep. As she was turning off the lamps in the house, she noticed something in the corner of her eye. Something that's not usually there. It was the man. 1 meter from the window. Jenny was so scared that she screamed out loud, then she ran and hid in the bedroom. She heard his footsteps through the grass outside the house. It sounded like he was moving closer to the entrance. Jenny remembered the second time she had seen him, when he also walked towards the entrance, but then disappeared of his own free will. The thought calmed her until she heard the door slam open. As she screamed, she realized she had nothing she could defend herself with. She turned around and opened the window, jumped out and ran towards her car that was parked 5 meters from the house. She was trembling with fear when she started the car. As she drove away, she looked into the rearview mirror. The man was standing at the window, looking right at her.
And so ends the story of Jenny. I would assume that Jenny is the woman that we can see in these pictures. What does this have to do with anything we have to do? We appear to be at a dead end. After all, when we got that dog key, the only place we could go was the dog door. Now we're in the room, and doesn't seem like there's anything here that's going to help us advance, is there? Have we found anything? It doesn't seem like there are any other rooms we could go to. Well, perhaps what we need to do is pay special attention to something in this story. When it mentions the man, it mentions how many meters away from the house he is. Very specific numbers. There's 9 meters. There's 6 meters. There's 1 meter. And there's 5 meters. So, 4 numbers, 9, 6, 1, 5, all referring to meters. Well, if we need 4 numbers, maybe there is one place we can think of where we might be able to use that. That one, I think, is one of the harder ones to pick up, to figure out what it is you're supposed to do with that. To realize that, oh, it's not just, not just a flavor text, not just a story you're supposed to read. Hey, pay attention to the numbers in that story, because you do need numbers. You need them for this. Okay, 9, 6, 1, 5. And now let's use the handle. And this time, the fan works, and we can pick up what was next to it, which is an envelope with some blood on it. Well, what else are we going to do with it but open it? And we get a bloodstained key. Well, we have seen a bloodstained door. And it was just down here, I believe. Yes, this one. The wood falling from the vibrations as we enter the room. It seems like no one's been in here for some time, even though this apparently is a fully functional and working rehab facility. Doesn't seem like anyone's been down here for a while, does it? You found a metal block. What could we do with that? Well, the metal block is the head of a sledgehammer. It's the psychic hammer that we need for a metaphorical this thing, the handle. That's what we need. Combine it. No, actually, I pressed the wrong button. Now we combine it with this, and now we have the sledgehammer, which we will use to smash our drug addiction and all assorted metaphors. But we also have to remain vigilant. I'm about to say vigilant, and that doesn't mean anything. Though I guess it could if I wanted it to. We have to remain vigilant and observant because we have to make sure we notice everything in the scene like this. Oh, that coin is so sneaky, but I see it. I see it. Did you see it? I don't need to ask. I know you did. You're much better at games than I am. You're much more observant. I know you saw that the whole time, and you were telling me to pick it up. I know. I know. The note that we have found says that we have to find me. But not me, I mean whoever wrote this letter. We have to find them, which is that me. And we have to find me by going up, left, up. Well, I think that we can think of some place where we might need to use directions like that. For right now, though, we have a sledgehammer. And when you have a sledgehammer, the first thing you want to do is smash something. Can we think of anything we've seen that would make sense to smash with a sledgehammer? Sorry, that was Nene's room. Nene apparently was not in. But if we need to smash something with a sledgehammer, what would we smash? What is available for the smashing? Apparently there's someone outside. They're trying to get in. It must be very cold outside. It's at night. It's dead of night. They're just trying to get warm. Hopefully they find the front entrance. It's the same thing, you know. Same door, but you're calling it a different thing depending on which side of it you're on, which direction you're going. How you title it, how you call it, depends on your own perspective. Even though the entrance/exit has nothing to do with you, you have everything to do with it. You demand that it be called by whatever needs you have it for. For right now, this is an entrance into this room, but it will also be the exit, depending on when I need to leave. And I don't even need to be in here right now. Why am I in here? Well, we know where this leads. And before we go in there, we really should see if we can make use of our sledgehammer. Just trying to remember which room it was that had something we could smash. It was this one, this brick wall. This seems like something that, it seems like something that there might be behind. There might be behind something in this wall. Behind, in, with hammer. I could speak tonight with you, playing XBLIG horror. More arrows. I'm close, Sam. They're waiting for us. We're Sam, we know. We're Sam Eldritch, which is a pretty good name for like a paranormal PI, I think. You'd name yourself Sam Eldritch if you were like that, I think. But there are some arrows. Left, up, right, right, right. And in the upper left, there is a line. And on this one, the first one we found, there are two lines. So it looks like this is page 2, and the one we found is page 1. So if you read them in order, it would come out to be left, up, right, 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 up, left, left, up. Now I think we're ready to handle the lost woods, the lost hallway, the lost corridors. We need to find Saria on the other side of it, and by Saria, I mean our drug addiction. Oh, maybe Saria's in there. The bag's asking us if we're its mother. Is that something you would lie to the bag about? No, I don't think so. I think we should be truthful with the bag. We'll say, no, I'm not your mother. And the bag is disappointed. It's good advice, bag. Unfortunately, we don't know where Bag's mother is. It's sad when families fall apart, drift apart, just don't communicate with each other anymore. Yeah, I can see that you don't have a whole lot to do in there. Bag does not get many guests. Bag's just looking for a friend, but we do have to continue our adventure. Our adventure of we're not sure what we're doing. Yeah, I'll be looking forward to that, Bag. Well, we can ask some questions or say nothing. I think that, asking someone, what are you, is a little insulting. We'll ask, who are you? Oh man, it's my lucky day. That seemed rather rude of us. Our new friend was just apparently getting ready to shake our hand. Unfortunately, it will not open. Well, he said we'll see him again, so we'll look forward to that. For right now, though, what we need to do is head into these rooms, and we have to remember what it said on the notes. It was left, up, right, 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 up, left, left, and up. And there we go. You'd think that that's not a very useful set of rooms to have in this rehab facility. I don't know who would be using that for what, but we found this room with another hula hoop, a flower, and a heart, and oh, what's back here but a coin? We got a coin. How many coins is that? We got 4 coins. Only 1 coin to go. And only one thing we can look at here. Once again, we're reminded that time is an illusion. It seems that we're aware that this is some kind of dream, though we still don't know what to make of it or what we should be doing. However, this one does have a specific time. It has the hour hand on 3, the minute hand on 7, and the second hand is on 9. So maybe we should remember that. As we turn to go, something here that we notice. Sketches, like the skull one we found, except these are of flowers. We'll just pick them all up. It does look like the same artistry of whoever drew the skull. It's nice. However, this begins a part where I cannot really explain to you why we have to use these drawings the way we do. Because what would you think we have to do with them? Just if you could imagine anything that from what you've seen so far that we would need to use these drawings for, what would you guess? Would you guess that we should put them on the hula hoops? I mean, I guess there is a flower right there, so that is kind of a clue. But which one do you think we should put down? We could put any one of them here. Like, I could put this one with the fire there. There it is. It goes there, but I can pick it back up, because maybe that's the wrong one. So from what you've seen in this room, which of these should go on there? Well, it's the one with the arrow. Why? Maybe you can figure that out. Maybe you can figure out why that's the right one, because I have no idea. I've played this a few times now, trying to work out why is that the correct one. Was there a hint that we got about that? Because I can't think of it. And what about this one? The one beneath these paintings. Well, this one, this guy is kind of staring intently at you. So maybe that's a clue, because the one we have to put down is the one with the eye. I bet you thought the one with the eye was going to be for the one with the eyes drawn on the wall back from the beginning, but no. This one goes here. Let's find those other 2 rings so we can put down our drawings. It seems that things did not go so well for Nene. Don't know who Nene is, but... And as we are bathed with blue moonlight, which one should we put down, do you think? Of course, it's the one with the fire. And only one more to go. I believe it's right down this hallway. And through this room. It is also through this room. Right here. And underneath these crying eyes, I guess it makes some sense that the last one we'd be putting down is the one with the teardrop. And if you get them all right, that light comes on. If we didn't get them right, nothing would have happened, and then we would have had to figure out which one we got wrong. Did we get the order wrong? Which ones have to go where? But if we get them all right, then a light turns on, and now we can get up the courage to crawl through this vent. And we stand up in front of a clock, but fortunately we remember that there was a time that we saw before, and we can move these hands as you can with clocks in video games. What's the purpose of a clock if you can't move the hands to solve a puzzle? If we remember what we saw before, the hour hand was on 3. The minute hand was on 7, and the second hand was on 9. And back in the portcullis room, we can see that setting the correct time has raised the portcullis. And I strongly recommend against that kind of device working that way. Lowering the portcullis seemed very easy and very quickly, but if that goes down and you need to get through it, you have to go through all this to get that thing to raise back up. That seems inefficient. Hey, the final coin, just sitting right here in plain view. And that's all 5 coins. And since the portcullis has gone up, that means that we could head right back there, and maybe we should just go back to bed. It's been a weird night. Maybe we should ask the staff in the morning about whether or not the facilities turn into some sort of nightmare labyrinth when the sun goes down. See if they know anything about that. And here we are, back in our cage. We could go back in our room, but we should probably see if anyone's awake. We looked before, but it didn't seem so. Let's knock. And so, Decay the Mare, Episode 1, comes to an end, in which our character, Sam Eldritch, checked into this facility to get off his drug habit. He took his medicine before going to bed, but then woke up and found that the whole place had been rearranged, and he stumbled about, eventually working his way back to his room, only to be attacked by a strange zombie man. And that's the end. Not a whole lot of story happening, it seems. The first Decay was very story-oriented. There was a good deal of narrative going on across those 4 episodes. Decay the Mare, not so much. Not nearly as much story happening in this one. This is more just weird stuff is happening. And why could it be happening? We don't know. We don't know. Is it the medicine that we took? Are we hallucinating everything? Or is supernatural stuff actually happening? You know, it's one of those things. You know that story. You've seen it before. It's here in Decay the Mare, Episode 1. But so far as we have seen, this does seem to be a lot more of Decay, the same format that Decay was in, the same mood, the same atmosphere, the same kind of music. And I enjoyed the first Decay, and I enjoyed that style. I like the mood that these games have. Though really, this could have gone with having a bit more story. We did get that one narrative of the girl in the house with the man coming closer to it, but I don't know if that actually has anything to do with anything. And I think these credits repeat, so I'm just going to press the button. And since I got the coins, like I said, I do believe that is the thing that unlocks extras, like this concept art of the first floor. You know, this is not actually concept art. This is a map that you're going to use to develop the level. That's not actually what concept art is. And we can see that there's an X in the top left. It says the Mare following player. So I'm going to guess that monster man that we've been seeing, that's the Mare, even though it's never actually said it in the game. Level 2. Again, it's not concept art. I'm just taking a look around to see if there's anything that indicates why we put the pieces of paper down where we had to put them, and I'm not really noticing anything. See, that's concept art. That's more like what you would think concept art is. I don't remember this painting showing up, but, you know, it might have been there. That's actually not bad. That's a pretty good enemy right there. I'm not sure if this counts as concept art. Maybe just barely. Maybe just barely. And I'm curious to know what was blurred out there. Why was it necessary to blur out the header of the page and the text on the bottom? But I'm not sure if we count this as concept art. Or this. This is just a map. This is just a map of the maze. And what's with all that text describing it? That's been blurred out. We can't tell what they were planning during the development of the game. And this is us. We saw us briefly during the animated intro of the game. We were standing there with our eyes closed. But we don't actually see ourselves once the game begins. But this is what Sam Eldritch looks like. And it looks like now we're repeating. We can also change the music here that we're hearing right now to the different tracks that we heard in the game. Well, that's Decay the Mare, Episode 1, and we'll be back with the horrors of XBLIG as we get into Episode 2. Like I said, it's only 2 episodes this time, not 4, so we'll get into Episode 2 as Decay the Mare comes to its conclusion, and we'll find out if this game was actually about anything to begin with. I'll see you then.